Hello and welcome to Gaming Night. My name is Banks, and not that kind of banana. Crab walk.
I'll lead.
Flash?
Throwing flashbang.
No, not that one. Maybe Rush?
Go, go, go.
Rings a bell? If not, you need to refresh your stream, guys, because I don't think I can make it any more obvious. It's Counter-Strike, the most spectacular game when it comes to esports. Players become worldwide renowned stars, and wherever CSGO tournaments are held, arenas are packed. And as the game grew, so did the money in it. So you may be asking yourself, how popular could CSGO really be? Let's find out.
When you think about the most popular games in esports, then surely Counter-Strike comes to mind, a game older than many players who play it. Nowadays, major CSGO tournaments are one heck of a show and a money-making machine, with top players earning more money than athletes in most traditional sports. But back in the days, it looked a little bit different.
I remember I played in Katowice when I was about 20. I came to Katowice for an esports tournament, and that was an internet cafe with 20 people, and we competed, and nobody watched it online, just the people behind us. That was the top of esports at that time. I never imagined at any point in my life that the world's best gamers would come and fill an entire stadium, let alone in Katowice.
Since then, Counter-Strike quite simply became one of the pillars of modern esports, and many of its players went from being amateurs to full-blown pros, with the very best achieving the reputation of being true stars. The game's growing popularity naturally attracted viewers, and even though CS is already an adult, it still remains the second most watched game on Twitch. And with popularity comes money. Just look at this list from 2020, showing just how much is going on in the world of Counter-Strike, and how much prize money is awarded directly to the players. But how much money can you actually make while being a pro? Short answer, even tens of thousands. At least when it comes to the Danish juggernaut Astralis, who, according to the Danish newspaper BT, pay their players a fixed salary of 200,000 Danish kroner, which translates to a little over $30,000. And guess what? The top 5 highest CSGO earners of all time are, or have been, members of Astralis. According to esportsearnings.com, all of them have already made over $1 million, and Dupree is even close to breaching that sweet $2 million barrier, enough to buy a cozy island in the South Pacific. How crazy. However, the tournament prize pools and salaries are not the only source of income for them. With that Champions tag and growing popularity come merchandise, sponsorship deals, and even taking part in commercials. Moreover, nowadays professional CSGO organizations also transfer players, just like in football. And Cloud9 even revealed their transfer fees last year, announcing that a 3-year contract with Alex McMeekin, better known just as Alex, cost them $1.65 million. And the analysts from Esports Transfers estimate that Nico's transfer from FaZe Clan to G2 cost a mind-blowing $2.42 million, which would easily make it the biggest transfer in the entire history of the game. And let's not forget about the merchandising stuff. Top teams' jerseys cost, and yes, this is true, almost as much as the most popular football club jerseys. But that's still not the end of it, as there are also in-game stickers and weapon skins. Players are able to sell some of them for a large amount of money, with the most expensive so far probably being the, and bear with us here, the AK-47 case hardened with StatTrack technology, bearing 4 Titan Hollow Katowice 2014 stickers and its minimal wear, obtained for an unbeatably low price of just $150,000 US. A true face of the game right there. Sure, when it comes to money, CSGO might not boast as large numbers as Dota 2 or League of Legends, but there's still a lot of dough to be earned here, and the numbers just keep going up.
So now you can see the scale of it. And if you're thinking of turning pro, becoming famous and making serious money, you better get to work, because there are millions like you with the same dream. Talking of dreams, here is a man who's been on stage for over a decade and has competed for teams like Astralis, Mouse Sports, and most recently, FaZe Clan. Carrigan is a true Counter-Strike legend, so let's check out if his knowledge is as good as his CSGO in-game leadership skills.
So the three questions are: the planet Mars appears red is due to the fact that the surface is covered in rust. Next answer is: the oldest CSGO player who won a pro tournament was 78 years old. And the next one is: the Netherlands area is bigger than Denmark's area. I think the second one is a lie. Okay. Cows are able to walk upstairs, but not downstairs. Running with a gun in front slows your character down. Brain is using 20% of all the oxygen that we breathe. I have never played Fortnite, so this one is tough. I know this is a trick question. I think running with a gun in front slows your character down. Is false. Oh my god, yes. There is a fish species that coughs. Or bats can eat up to 3,000 flies a night. In CSGO, crouching improves your aim. I know 100% third one is right. I mean, improves your aim. It depends if you are talking spray or tapping. Your crosshair gets better, so I guess that's the thing. Yeah, the third one. Like, because it's spray instead of aim. It's not like you aim better just because you're crouching. The third one is lie. Messi has won the Ballon d'Or 8 times, or we spent 2 weeks of our lives waiting at traffic lights, or Sea Lion is the only animal that is able to clap a beat. I think the third one is a lie. Sea Lion is the only animal that is able to clap a beat. Yeah, but he won a lot of times though. So Astralis are the only team to win a major without losing a map in the playoffs. A snail can take a nap that lasts 3 years. Or all of us have more kills of competitive CSGO than Carrigan. Thinking about the major thing. I don't think a snail can take a nap that lasts 3 years, so I think that one is the false one. What? I have more kills than Olaf? Interesting. That's because he's so bad, you know? I have more kills than him. A man's cough is almost 1,000 kilometers per hour, while the sneezing is faster than 160 kilometers per hour. A can of regular soda will sink, but a diet soda will float in the water. G2's Nico spirit animals llama. What the hell? I think the third one is a lie. Oh, good. Dog and Nico apparently. So bees can fly higher than Mount Everest. Our first video game tournament took place in 1972. PSP was the first console in space. Bro, I think first one. I don't think bees can fly higher than Mount Everest. Maybe they can, but then they become birds or something. So I think the first one is a lie. Oh Jesus, where are they going? But were they on the moon is the question. Johnny Depp holds all the rights for any computer game combined with Pirates from the Caribbean. Symbol has almost 31,000 kills in competitive CSGO. A tsunami speed can be as fast as a jet plane. I think the third one is a lie. Man, I suck at this. It's not going as I wanted it to be. You can't get married with video game character. Or you can't smell anything when you're asleep. Or to think a human's brain use 10 watts of energy does not feel pain. And does not... Oh my god. At the first one, you can't get married with a video game character. They can't say yes. Okay, interesting. Apparently you don't have to say yes. Humans' fingernails grow faster when someone is cold. The most expensive CSGO in history was the AK-47 sold by $250,000. Before 1930, you could send your child to grandma via postal service. Jesus, man. What is these questions? I think the third one is a lie, man. You can't send child with a postal service. Apparently you can, but no, I don't believe it. So the second one is a lie. Unlucky. That's better than 0, you know?
Okay, so you saw how Carrigan coped with our test. You have to admit that CSGO superstar is a very clever man. Now, celebrities. Here's a few names that you probably didn't know love to play CSGO. Cue the epic music.
A lot of faces within the world of Counter-Strike can without a doubt be considered celebrities. But what about widely known people outside of the game? It's not only professional athletes who dive into CS, and some even redefine the way it's meant to be played. Starting in the world of professional football, the name Neymar Jr. almost immediately springs to mind. This famous Brazilian player caused quite a buzz back in 2019, when during the minors in Katowice, he openly rooted for Furia Esports. But that's not the only moment when he expressed his fondness for Counter-Strike. In fact, he's an active and avid CSGO enthusiast, and even sometimes posts his highlights, just like this op-ace from 2017.
Vamos! Aí, carizeira.
And during the 2018 FIFA World Cup, Neymar and his buddies not only celebrated their goals in true CS style,
Throwing flashbang.
but also blew off some steam after their match against Mexico with some action on Inferno. And that's something you don't get to see every day. Staying in the world of sports, let's now take a look at basketball and one of the top NBA players, Jonas Jerebko. Yup, he also treats himself to a little game of CS from time to time and even took his love for the game and esports to the next level by buying the whole Renegades organization in 2016 to later rebrand it to Detroit Renegades. But Jerebko isn't the only famous basketball player to get involved in the world of Counter-Strike. Ever heard of Shaquille O'Neal? Four-time NBA champion and 15-time NBA All-Star, regarded as one of the best players of all time? Well, he also dove into the game really deep.
Nobody's gonna hurt my little chickie baby, no.
And let's not forget about Jerzy Janowicz, the Polish tennis player and former ATP number 14, who not only likes to play Counter-Strike, but also has shown the real struggles of every gamer. But as we said in the beginning, professional athletes aren't the only celebrities playing Counter-Strike. Some decent representation also comes from the music industry. Take Nicky Romero, for example. This Dutch DJ and music producer had his own Counter-Strike community server at one point. Or Logic, an American rapper and producer who has always been very open about his love for gaming, and even runs his own YouTube gaming channel. When it comes to CS, however, Logic didn't want to go the easy route, and with the help of FaZe Rain, sadly not the CS player, he decided that mouse and keyboard are obsolete.
I have a question.
What's up?
So I just got CSGO.
Yeah.
And I'm on my laptop, and how do I make it so that my controller can be the main?
It's a PC game, dude.
I know, but on all my PC games, I can use my controller.
Naturally, though, our list wouldn't be complete without a representative from the Counter-Strike bastion itself, Denmark. Coming in the shape of Simon Talbot, a popular comedian. Talbot has not only been very active on his Twitch account, but he can also pack a punch on the server. But even he cannot withstand the power of the boat.
Hey! No, we're not kicking Simon.
So as you can see, known people and celebrities in Counter-Strike come in all shapes and sizes. Of course, this is just a short list of the more recognizable names, but even so, it clearly shows that gaming can bring all kinds of different worlds together.
I have to admit, some of those celebrities caught me off guard, but it ain't over yet, because it is time now for us to meet our next guest. Could you believe that I get to chat with CSGO royalty? Please welcome to the show. Welcome to Gaming Night. Pimp, how are you?
I'm great, thank you.
Good, it's great to have you on the show. I'm going to kick things off straight away by asking you first about your transition from casual gamer to pro gamer. Did you seek out an org or did you get contacted? What happened?
Oh, I started out by playing a lot of free-for-all stuff in Counter-Strike, gun game, and all these fun modes back in the days where you're just chilling and having fun with your friends. And I gotta admit, I was also one of those kids who were just being super annoying in the voice chat, yelling and screaming at people, and got the full casual experience. Then a couple of mates of mine asked me once if I wanted to try to play a competitive game. I didn't even realize you could play 5 against 5 back then, and I was like, why not? And we played a couple of games, and I find it funny, and figured out that you could now compete in my favorite game. So I've always been very sports-oriented. I always played football, handball, etc. here in Denmark. So the fact that I could now compete in my favorite game as well, it just instantly sucked me in. And ever since, I never looked back. I went from being a casual player to a player that played super, super serious and super, super competitive just to make sure that I got good.
Well, when you think back to that time, what was the competition like when you wanted to turn pro? I mean, in comparison to how it is now.
Well, there's definitely more competition nowadays, but there was a fair bit of competition back then as well, considering I went pro when I was 15 years of age and I had to have my mom and my dad to sign my contracts to receive my free t-shirts and my free gaming gear and all that kind of stuff back then. So it was tough, I felt, back then, but I can imagine that if you're 15 or 16 years of age now, it must be even worse because there's so many new players and so many talents out there that you have to shine over, right? So I can understand why some people find it tough to break through into the pro scene, but that being said, I respect everyone who's ever done it because it's always been hard work.
Yeah, it definitely has always been hard work to turn pro. I definitely agree with you there. But you've been considered an idol and a great example of professionalism in professional CS:GO. So did you have any idols in CS:GO as you climbed up the ranks that you looked up to?
I didn't have any idols as per se. There was a couple of players I liked, for the playing style and the way they conducted themselves on the server. Existence is a guy that I always refer back to. Belgian, French in-game leader for a team called Very Games in Counter-Strike Source back when I was playing. And he was like the top of the cream, right? He was the player you look up to. He was the guy who was winning everything, and he seemed to have such a nice charisma around him. But apart from that, we didn't really have any idols or any role models back then as we do today because it was so new still. So as you said, I kind of grew up as to be this new role model for the next generation, and whether or not I succeeded with that, I'm not too sure.
You're doing a great job of it so far, take it from me. Now, I want to take things slightly away from CSGO for a brief moment because I wanted to ask you, what's your favorite hobby outside of CSGO? Because I've noticed in your YouTube videos and your streams, you've got a very nice road bike behind you a lot of the time. Is that something that you love doing?
I love road biking. I love biking in general, yeah. I will say, though, that a couple of years ago, I was riding my bike more than I do today. Today, I'm more about football. I play a lot of football, and I enjoy playing football. I started when I was 19 years of age, so I was super, super poor and super, super bad compared to all my friends and all the guys I played with at my club. But, as the same mentality I had when I went from casual player in Counter-Strike to a professional player, I'm putting in a lot of work and I'm putting in a lot of effort to become better at football. And, watching football games, watching the Premier League, watching La Liga, watching League One, etc., and engaging with football is definitely my side passion to Counter-Strike. I would go as far as saying that I play more Counter-Strike, surely, but I watch as much football as I watch Counter-Strike, and that's not little.
So I imagine that you're watching a lot of the Euros right now, which is definitely popping off. I see it everywhere, and it's super exciting. But if you could start a band with CSGO pro players, this is a definite off-the-cuff question, who would you pick and why?
Ooh, that's a good question. I would definitely go for Simple. I want like the rock star mentality to be in my band, and no fucks given, to be completely honest. and I think Simple is a great attribute to that. So we got to put him in there. You got a bit of niceness as well. You got that nice guitar guy who's everyone is looking towards, who's a good looking guy. So I'm thinking Device, on the side of Simple to play the guitar and be a good looking guy who could be an attraction for people to come watch. I'll put in myself because I'm pretty badass when shit gets down. To be completely honest. So I think me, Simple, and Device would form a pretty cool band.
You've thought of that before, I swear. Like that, you've got every angle covered. Now, this might be a bit of a touch and go question, so bear with me, okay? Have you ever had an embarrassing moment at a pro tournament? Now, before you answer, I'm going to let you kind of let it marinate with you for a bit because I'm going to tell you my most embarrassing moment so far. So I'm hosting a tournament and I have to run in between a link from interviewing someone to interviewing someone else, and I had a few steps in between. I had to jump up those steps in order to get to my next interview, and so I decided to jump them instead of walk up the steps like a normal person would, and my foot came out of my shoe. So somewhere on YouTube there is me interviewing a professional Clash of Clans player with one shoe on. That is
It's not bad. It's not bad. You could have done worse, though. You could have done worse.
I definitely could. Okay, what about you? Yeah. What about you?
There's so many to pick from. I don't really know. I feel like the most embarrassing stuff I've done, it wasn't actually on cam. We were doing a recording, we were doing a show, and we had one of those mic packs on us. And we agreed that we were done for the day. And I jumped into my car and I was driving home. The studios were an hour and a half from where I live. And when I got back home, I realized I still had the microphone on myself. I still had the mic pack on me. So I had to drive all the way back to deliver that back and then go all the way back home. So I don't know if it's embarrassing, but it's stupid as hell. And that cost me a 3-hour drive.
Oh, 3 hours. I bet the guys at production were like, we're not going to work with this guy again. He's just trying to steal the microphones.
Well, I was like, I'm not going to work with you guys again. So we were even on that front.
Well, your name, Pimp, comes from taking the social club's computer room from the older kids. Now, how did you do that? Because in my head, I'm playing out a scene from John Wick. You know, there's keyboards being thrown, there's mouse being wrapped around people. Talk me through it, because I need some clarification.
Well, it's quite simple. Back then, there was like set times and set schedules for when the kids could have the computer room. So luckily, we were consulted by adults, and they were following us in there, telling the big kids that now they had to get the hell out of here. And now the smaller kids, I think I was 3rd grade or 4th grade back then, could now have the computer room. But you know it, when you're 7th grade, 8th grade, 9th grade, and you have to give up your PC to a little choppy guy with glasses, you're not feeling too satisfied about it. So they called me the little pimp and the little tyranny, I think they called me. It's a weird name, but they started to call me the pimp, and ever since I just stuck to it. And I guess I changed it from the pimp to just pimp.
Oh, I love a backstory. That's great. And I'm gonna end this section of the interview with something a little bit off the cuff that I wanted to ask you, because you know what? I've been watching a few things you've been doing. I check out your stream, your YouTube and stuff like that. And I'm not sure if you've got this before, but you, my friend, look like Ryan Reynolds. Okay? I've decided that you look like Ryan Reynolds. And have you ever had that before, by the way?
I've heard a couple of guys, I've seen a couple of guys in the chat say it, and then I've seen my much, just delete the message. So I'm like, there can't be any truth to that.
No, I love that, right? Because the popular game and now movie Mortal Kombat has had a buzz around it that Ryan Reynolds has been asked to play Johnny Cage in the sequel.
That's actually me, yeah.
So I have a question to ask you. Would you agree to be his body double if you were asked?
I would definitely agree to side by Ryan Reynolds for sure.
Because, I mean, how confident would you be being thrown around a movie set doing martial arts, basically? How confident would you be with that?
Easy. I've done it before.
Easy. I like that. Thank you so much for joining me in this interview. It really was a pleasure, Pimp. But there's more, unfortunately for you. Let's have some fun. And let's find out about some of your knowledge of the very smallest details within CSGO. Are you ready?
I'm so ready.
Good. Right, this is called What's on Your Mind, okay? So I'm going to kick things off by asking you, which CSGO player said, do stupid stuff, but do it with confidence?
Ooh, I believe I've heard that many times before, and if I can't quote myself, then I think the first guy to say it must have been either Exist or Flusher, like one of those two Swedish guys, because I feel like they were getting kind of annoyed by all this stupid shit going around.
We're off to a good start, because it was indeed Flusher. That is 1 for 1. Okay, I'm going to kick on to the next question. Number 2. What is the origin of the name Goose on Dust 2?
Well, wouldn't that be the goose painted on the wall on the map?
Well, it actually came from originally, right, from the nickname of one of the developers, whose name is Min Lee, but his nickname was Gooseman.
Fair enough.
Okay, we're good. 50%, it's all good. I want you to maintain this, okay? And we need above 50%, okay? So, number 3, what does the well-known Cali style refer to?
That would be jumping and headshotting and doing ridiculous stuff that shouldn't be able to be done without certain programs running on your PC. So I'm going to say the USP jump is probably one that comes into mind.
That is absolutely correct. The headshot at ESL 1 Cologne 2014, where it was Virtus Pro versus LDLC. There's the knowledge right there. I love it. Okay, 2 out of 3. Question number 4, Pimp. How many accessible ladders are there on Nuke?
All right. That would be 2. There'd be 1 in the vents, and there's 3. 4. There's 4. There's 1 in the vents, there's 1 under heaven, there's 1 outside in T-spawn, and 1 somewhere else. There's 4.
Oh, there's 5, Pimp. There's 5. You got lobby, roof, small in front of silos, vent, and heaven. Those are your 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm an idiot.
It's okay. No, don't worry about it, man. 2 for 2. This is the big one, okay? Which player has its own street on Inferno?
Say that again?
Which player has its own street on Inferno?
See, that's a good question, right? Because when it comes to callouts, we in Denmark at least, we use our own. So I have no idea. I'm gonna take a wild guess and say, I don't know, simple.
It's Freiberg from Ninjas in Pajamas. Via Adamo, the king of the banana.
Okay.
Street on Inferno. Right, question number 6. Let's power through. Which map is this graffiti from? You're going to see something on your screen. You're going to see a picture, and you have to tell me which map this graffiti is on. And who is it of?
Ooh. That would be an AWP I see right there, and I guess that would be Simple on Cash, maybe.
Ooh, spicy! I like that.
What did you do? Oh, can I pick?
Yeah,
Simple
you can. You just picked. You just absolutely smashed it. Simple on Cash. I love it, man. So you got the first one right now. We're going to move on to another map question. So which map is this graffiti from?
That's some flying stuff right there. I'm gonna go on a limb and say that's... I don't know. Why can't I remember? It's not Cold Zero, is it? With the flying wings? Doesn't look like the Mirage background. I'm missing it. I'm gonna say Cold Zero, but it's not.
It's Dosha.
Okay, of course.
Okay, right. So number 8, right? Are you ready for number 8?
Yeah.
You're always ready, man. I don't even need to ask. So how many cars are there on Dust 2?
How many cars? There's one in B, there's one on Long, there's one outside Long, and there's one in T-Spawn. I have not forgotten what. There's 4.
There's 6. You have 6 cars on Dust 2.
Where the hell are those?
You know what? I wish I could tell you.
Yeah.
But
I'll take your word for it.
So I'm going to move swiftly on to a map that you've actually mentioned already. On the map Mirage, why are fireboxers called fireboxers?
That is cause one of my colleagues, Machine, back in the days, he always died at fireboxes, and he's a very fired up player. So he always started raging whenever he would die at firebox. So we called them firebox because that was sort of like indication of where Machine would die all the time when we played with him.
I mean, I kind of feel like I have to give you half a point because that's why you call it fireboxes. But the official answer is because there was a fire sign on them on the old map.
Oh,
I just kind of prefer your answer, though, bro.
Yeah, I had no idea. I just made it up.
Number 10, who is the oldest professional CSGO player? And how old are they?
Oh, they're old. They're old. They're half dead. We're looking at the likes of Forrest. I think still is hanging around. Test technically still is playing. So I think we're gonna guess 33, 32 years of age. RPK retired. Is it Forrest who's still the most active professional player?
Well, I have to tell you that in the senior CSGO pro player roster, diehard Birdie is 78 years old.
Okay, well, kudos to diehard Birdie. That must be one hell of a career.
So, Pimp, we're going to show you 5 of the highest sale price CSGO skins. And you have to guess what they were sold for, and you'll get extra street cred, trust me, if you get any of the prices exactly right. Okay, sound good?
Yeah, I'm down.
Perfect. Right, we're going to kick off with the first one, which is Statrak M4A4 Howl, and this is factory new. Sold for how much?
These bad boys are expensive, yeah. On the street market, I'm gonna say that this factory new Howl was probably sold for $68,000.
Okay, we're going to bring things back a little bit, okay? We're going to remember, we're going from cheapest to most expensive. Okay. So I should have said that as well. I'll give you one more guess before I give you the answer.
Okay, so I overshot it. You know what? This is a whatever. It's $9,000.
Oh, it's $8,000. Okay, we're off to a good start. I like that. Okay. Cool. So now we can move on, and you'll now know that everything is more expensive than $8,000, and will progressively get higher, okay? So the Karambit Crimson Web, factory new. So we know it's above $8,000. What are you going to go for?
Oh, these bad boys are expensive. You say StatTrak, factory new? They could be worth a lot. I'm going to take a wild guess and say 15,000.
We're going to go a little bit less there. It's 9,000, okay? So we've gone from 8,000 to 9,000. Small jump, not huge. Okay. We're going to go on to our next one, okay? StatTrak M9 Bayonet Crimson Web, factory new. What are we thinking about this one?
They're expensive too. They're all expensive. You did a little job last time. This is $15,000 easily. This is $15,000 of quality you're looking at.
This is an even smaller jump. This is $9,300. Now, what I'm going to tell you right now is that now we're going to jump, okay? because we got the next two. Okay, so this is the second most expensive skin. Okay, the Souvenir Dragon Lore, factory new. What are we talking?
Yeah, especially with a pimp stick on that one. That's pretty impressive. We're looking at a very expensive skin right here. I'm gonna say $17,000.
This right here is $46,000.
Sure.
That was sold roughly for that amount. That is unbelievable. I don't even have words really for that one. And now, for the most expensive skin, Pimp, okay? The StatTrak case hardened with 4 Titan Katowice 2014 stickers was sold for... Give it a go.
See, that's kind of funny, right? Because I've had that exact skin in my hand in my game.
No.
I was borrowing it from the guy, I was borrowing it from the guy who bought it, and I believe he paid 150k for it.
Yes, you got it right. Right at the very end. I like it. $150,000. Can you believe it? For a skin in CSGO. That's absolutely unbelievable. Pimp.
I mean, it was nice. It was nice to play with, but let's be completely honest, it wasn't that nice. It's
nice, but not that nice. I'll take that. That's cool. Pimp, thank you so much for joining me on Gaming Night. And we really, really appreciate all of your support for Gamers Without Borders. You really have been an amazing guest. And just thank you once again.
Absolutely welcome.
As you all know, Gamers Without Borders is a charity event supporting various charity organizations. I'm joined by UNICEF's Sports Partnerships Specialist, Frank Lawley. Welcome to Gamers Without Borders. It's an honor to have you here with us today. So first of all, how are you?
Yeah, I'm very well, thank you. Thank you for having me. Great to be here at Gamers Without Borders too.
Well, we appreciate you taking the time to chat with me during your lovely time away. So, I can just dive straight into it. You are a sports partnership specialist at UNICEF, and I heard that you had a chance to cooperate with quite a few gaming initiatives before. So, are you a gamer yourself?
Yeah, so for me, mainly it's sports games. So growing up, it was kind of FIFA, Football Manager that were my staples. So you spent hours and hours kind of desperately trying to get my team, Newcastle United, into the Champions League and winning titles, which is very much gaming rather than reality. So mostly PlayStation console games. The PC games kind of less so. To be perfectly honest, I'd kind of never heard of things like League of Legends and Dota until I started working at UNICEF and working on gaming. So a kind of little bit of a mixture there.
Well, there's a huge FIFA tournament going on during Gamers Without Borders, so I hope that you managed to catch that, even while you're away. And most of our viewers are for sure, familiar with UNICEF's humanitarian mission, but for those who are joining us for the first time and viewers that may not be so familiar, could you please tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So UNICEF we're the world's leading organisation for children. So we've done more than any other organisation. We're global, so we work in 190 countries and territories and some of the kind of toughest places. And we say kind of we work with along their full cycle, so from 0 to 18, across a number of different themes, ranging from kind of health, education, water and sanitation, and so on. Obviously, for UNICEF and for everyone, COVID has dominated a lot of what we've done over the last kind of 12 or so. Our response to COVID is in 2 areas. So one is supporting children across the world to recover from the effects of the pandemic, I guess across some of those themes that I've just mentioned there. And then the second and kind of one of the big focuses for this year is delivering life-saving vaccines. So we are part of the COVAX facility and kind of working across different continents to deliver vaccines, tests and treatments. I think that's one of the key focuses is giving equal access to the vaccine and ensuring no one gets left behind. And that's why I guess, it's through the support of partners and supporters that we're able to do this, like Gamers Without Borders, to help us achieve these goals.
Well, speaking about the last 12, to 18 months and Gamers Without Borders regarding UNICEF as well, we've donated over $3.9 million to UNICEF in 2020. So how has this amount of money helped your organization?
Yeah, it was an amazing partnership with a huge impact. So funding last year went towards our COVID-19 emergency response. I just mentioned it then. And I'll talk through some of the things that the funding helped us to achieve. So we reached over 100 million people with water and sanitation supplies. So for example, it's very difficult to wash your hands if you have no access to water or access to soap. We reached over 300 million children with distance learning as schools closed and education stopped around the world. And 90 million children provided with healthcare services last year through the appeal, which was greatly disrupted by the pandemic, again, across countries. And all of this has been delivered in world record time. So yeah, very thankful for the support this year, and again, hoping for similar this year.
Well, yes, touching on this year, we've spoken a bit about 2020, so now let's look to the future slightly. What's UNICEF going to do to, you know, push vaccination rollout forward to countries that are in need the most?
Yeah, so you're completely right. The number one goal for us this year is very much the vaccines. So our aim is to deliver 2 billion vaccines, COVID-19 vaccines, by the end of 2021. And we're focusing on 92 low to middle income countries. So that's, you may have heard of the COVAX. So we've been asked to undertake the delivery task because for years and years UNICEF has delivered more vaccines than anyone else. So we vaccinate almost half the world's children every year. This means that we've got the skills, the capacity, and the partners on the ground to succeed and again ensure no one get left behind. And it's so important for us to achieve this goal, to help life get back to normal, and also to allow children to access the key services that have been disrupted by the pandemic. So it's great that, yeah, the Gamers Without Borders is supporting this vital work.
I mean, yeah, I mean, speaking of us supporting and no one left behind, which is indeed our kind of slogan, our ethos for this year, 2021, it sounds incredible. But, you know, in terms of education for, I mean, not only myself, but all of our viewers at home watching Gamers Without Borders, how can we contribute to your efforts? I mean, what can we do, you know, to help UNICEF?
Yeah. So definitely, as well as obviously watching Gamers Without Borders, viewers can help us to beat the pandemic by donating to UNICEF and helping us to deliver this biggest ever global health campaign that I've mentioned. So with your support, we can help reach even more people with COVID-19 vaccines. And this is key. This is the only way we can push back the virus worldwide and protect the most vulnerable. Also, I guess a lot of the viewers are probably very active on social media. Another kind of, I guess, key way to support would be to help us fight the infodemic by sharing key messages on vaccines on your social media channels. And you can head over to UNICEF channels to see some of the messaging on this. And then finally, for the gamers of the Elite tournament, that ask very much choose UNICEF and help us end this pandemic. For example, if you unlock a $100,000 donation, that can help to fund 2-dose vaccinations for 25,000 people. Hugely, hugely important.
Yeah, that sounds absolutely vital. I mean, Frank, thank you so much for taking the time to join me on Gamers Without Borders, and we really appreciate, you know, everything you guys are doing, and best of luck with the rest of 2021 at UNICEF.
Thank you very much for having me.
Well, that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed the show as much as I love taking part in it. And thanks again to all of our amazing guests. My name is Banks, and we'll see you next week. And remember, no one left behind.